To find meaning in life, I needed to find an answer to death. We all do. And at the point we've reached in Luke's Gospel, Jesus looks like the last place to look for that answer. He made some big claims. He achieved some notable things. He stirred up hopes and dreams. And then, on that first Good Friday, he died. His body was laid in a tomb, and a huge stone was rolled over the entrance. Hope extinguished. It was over. That was Friday. But Sunday was coming. And the claim at the heart of the Christian faith is that on that Sunday morning, something extraordinary happened. Something that can rob death of its power and give life the purpose we long for. Here's how Luke begins in chapter 24, verse 1. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took spices they had prepared and went to the tomb. Can you imagine what these friends of Jesus are feeling as they hurry to the tomb on that Sunday morning? Grief, fear, hopeless, powerless. Grief at the death of Jesus, their friend. Fear of the authorities who have killed their friend. Hopeless, because they dared to hope Jesus was the mighty God and the Prince of Peace. But now he's lying cold and lifeless, and all their hopes have died with him. And they must feel powerless because they know there's going to be a huge stone across the entrance to the tomb. They've brought these spices to embalm the body, but it's just a gesture. They've spent all this money, but the Roman authorities aren't going to allow the tomb to be opened. But when someone dies, you do things that are useless from a practical point of view. So the women go along, and then they get to the tomb, and they experience 3 shocks of escalating intensity. What do you make of this? Luke 24, verse 2. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb. But when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. While they were wondering about this, suddenly 2 men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground. But the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He's not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee, the Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the 3rd day be raised again." Then they remembered his words. The first shock is in verse 2. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb. Then in verse 3, they enter and the body of Jesus isn't there. The tomb's empty. And finally in verse 4, 2 angels appear in clothes that gleam like lightning. And if you're at a loss at the mention of angels, you aren't alone. The women are also flat on their faces. They know this is supernatural. And then comes the news that is going to change their lives forever. The news that's going to change the world forever. 7 little words. He is not here. He has risen. The angels say, look, if you're looking for a dead body, you'll never find him. Jesus is alive.